Oh boy, it's the Cam Strick Podcast again, going out there and dropping haymakers just months after we saw the contrary. This is an idea that I did see pop up quite a bit on social media after the Four Nations face-off, and it's good enough that I think it does warrant its own video here. I wanted to leave a link in the description, firstly, to our ExpressVPN affiliate page. This show is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Go out there, check out the first link in the description to save some money on your VPN, get some free months, and support this YouTube channel in the process. But what I'm also going to leave a link in the description to is a video on Andy Strickland's Twitter of the Cam and Strick Podcast. We've been telling you, Brady Tkachuk will eventually follow his brother to Florida. Hashtag time to hunt, hashtag go Sens go. And if you watch the clip, normally I would try to transcribe what is said here, but essentially Cam and Strick are talking about Brady Tkachuk, and they're diving into the idea that says that, yeah, Brady is going to eventually leave Ottawa. It's only a matter of time. Andy Strickland says that on the broadcast. It is only a matter of time until Brady Tkachuk leaves the team. They say here, his no-move clause is going to kick in, and it's going to play out exactly like Matthew Tkachuk's situation did with the Calgary Flames. And he's going to get traded to where he wants to go, and then he's going to go to Florida. And they say on the show, Florida will find a way. Florida will do it. They can find a way. Strickland says here on the show, that's Florida's mindset already. That's what they're planning to do. They're already thinking, how can we get Brady Tkachuk here to play with his brother? And a lot of people did respond to this in a negative way, particularly this reply from Jack Richardson. You've also been telling us that he has no desire to play anywhere else, so which is it? And linked is a tweet from Andy Strickland from a few months ago. The circus surrounding Brady Tkachuk won't stop. The team has made it clear to both him and publicly they are not trading him, and he has no desire to play elsewhere. Not saying that can't change down the road, but that is where we are today. Now, the difference is, this Brady Tkachuk tweet by Strickland from December 10th was before the Four Nations face-off. And I keep on bringing it up for good reason, because the Four Nations face-off tournament provided, for a lot of these players, Dylan Larkin, Brady Tkachuk, the most important hockey games of their lives, or at least some of the most incredible atmosphere games they have ever been a part of. Matthew Tkachuk said this game was the most important game he had been a part of, and he won a Stanley Cup last year in Game 7. All for what is essentially an all-star replacement-level tournament that just happened to feature a best-on-best Canada-US setting. We recognize that the tournament itself wasn't that big of a deal, and you could tell from the body language of the players when they hoisted the trophy. For example, Connor McDavid, he didn't really look all too happy when he lifted the Four Nations Face-Off Championship trophy. He didn't even lift it above his head, he lifted it to his eyes pretty much. This tournament was more so about the Canada-USA rivalry, and both of the buildings in Boston and Montreal embraced that fully. All the players on the teams embraced that fully. Let's be honest here. There were realistic opportunities for Sweden and or Finland to find themselves in the finals. They were definitely good enough constructed teams to win. But this was a tournament where, by the end of it, the narrative was Canada-US. Nobody was necessarily thinking about, the first Four Nations face-off tournament. No, it was a Canada-US showdown. And this hockey game, with this atmosphere, that is something that I think a lot of folks have started to look at and say, hey, Brady Tkachuk has never been in a game as important like this in the Stanley Cup Playoffs. The Ottawa Senators have not been that team. Is it only a matter of time before he starts to get a little bit antsy about what he can accomplish in this league and what he'll be able to do as a member of the Ottawa Senators? Is there a chance that he has himself that awakening moment and he tries to go elsewhere to a cup contending team? Does he try to go over to his brother? Does he decide to go to Florida at some point? He's got leverage. He's got a no-move clause. It's been kicked in for a while. If he gets traded anywhere, it's only going to be a place that he wants to go. And the folks on the podcast here are saying that Matthew Tkachuk and the Florida Panthers, they're already thinking about it. And maybe it's an inevitability that Brady Tkachuk eventually finds himself on some other NHL team. whether or not the Ottawa Senators are able to win and actually force themselves into a better position. Is that possible? Yeah, of course it's possible, but with the way they have been progressing and with how fantastic the Four Nations was, is it a reasonable idea to be talking about here on this podcast that Brady Tkachuk and his departure from Ottawa is just an inevitability here? That there is reason to believe that Tkachuk magic could be replicated not just on Team USA next year at the Olympics or at the Four Nations, but in regular NHL play. Could you imagine a team with Brady and Matthew Tkachuk? I mean, you got to think about the Florida Panthers, right? You think about Sam Reinhart, Alex Barkov, so many capable names. This is a Stanley Cup championship winning roster. I mean, they won the Cup last year. Imagine adding Brady Tkachuk onto that team, too. Not only are you getting an extra 75, 80, 85 points even, but you're also getting one of the league's biggest aggressors and just dominant forces physically in the game today. So ultimately, I do think that there is an idea to talk about with this commentary. I don't think it's necessarily guaranteed at any point in the future, but it was talked about in the podcast. They say that Brady is inevitably going to go there. He's eventually going to go there. My question is as well, what's the trade package? I mean, if you're Florida, obviously you're going to have to give the moon and the stars for Brady Tkachuk. But my question is, if Brady is interested in getting traded, or let's say he wants to get traded, he pulls the old Matthew Tkachuk where you know he doesn't want to commit to your team, and you know that he only really wants to go to a few areas. Matthew only wanted to go to Dallas, St. Louis, Florida, those kind of southern states there in the U.S. If Brady is limiting that to only Florida, he's like, yeah, I want to get traded and I want to go there. He pulls the old Vladimir Tarasenko. He only wants to go to the Florida Panthers. Does that not significantly decrease the value of what Ottawa could get in return? I mean, I get it. The Ottawa Senators, they don't want to trade away their captain. He's a super important name. He is one of the best players in the league at just being who he is and doing what he does. That guy is of extreme magnitude of importance in Ottawa. They're not going to give him away for crap. But if he decides, yeah, I want out. I want to go to Florida. I want to play with my brother. The Panthers don't have to pay a significant asking price. And they still get the guy. Like, is there not some sort of disaster scenario that could occur here with this name and with these teams? I don't know. It's why I wanted to make this video. I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Do you agree with Cam Strick's show here, where they speak about how it's inevitable that Brady Tkachuk will leave the Ottawa Senators and how he will find himself in Florida to play with his brother, because that's already the mindset that the Panthers and Matthew Tkachuk have. They want to bring Brady in. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think an appropriate trade package is? What do you think the likelihood is that this actually goes down? I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.